So one of the things we have to be careful of in calculus is this dividing by zero. So we know that if we divide by zero, the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 over x. So if we divide by 0, this does not exist. Okay, so if we come from the reason why it doesn't exist because it's a two-sided limit, and from both sides we know that from one side it's going up to positive infinity. Okay. And from the other side, we know that it's going down to negative infinity. Okay, so we have to be very careful about this. So when we have these these limits, we need to be very mindful of whether we're coming at it from dividing by zero from both sides or from right side or left side. Okay, so when we have these situations where we end up with zero in the denominator, sometimes it's undefined because if from both sides it doesn't equal the same thing. Sometimes we end up with these situations where, and I'll give you an example, where we have a squared denominator. Let's say y equals 1 over x squared, and we have this asymptote where the squared denominator, they both go in the same direction. That looks a real mess there, so I'll just clean that up a bit. Okay, so it goes up like that. So as a two-sided limit, these are to do with the even powers. Okay, the even powers. These as two-sided limits, they do exist. So limit as x goes to 0 of 1 over x squared is equal to positive infinity. Okay, so this is true. But when we have these odd powers or 1 over x's, we have to be mindful of which side we're approaching 0 from. So in the blue here, if you notice that if I approach 0 from the negative side, yeah, it's going to go to negative infinity. And what we can kind of use kind of shorthand is just say we're approaching 0 from the negative side. We're going to end up with negative infinity. Here we approach 0 from the positive side. We're going to go to positive infinity. Or in shorthand again, we can just write this as 0 positive, and we know we're going to end up with positive infinity. Okay, so we really have to be careful with these 1 over x functions, and we need to only define them for one-sided limits, and make sure you know if it's going to positive or negative infinity, depending on which side you're approaching 0 from.